wanted to talk about the Elon Musk podcast on the Joe Rogan Experience, which is extremely popular, and him being one of the perhaps the most requested guests of all time, as Joe described it. What are your overall thoughts on the podcast and the impression that Elon left, and your impression of it's a broad question of the company? Did it change anything, how you felt about Tesla, and do you think it changed anything for a lot of prospective customers? Because he's got obviously a diehard loyal base of customers.
Yeah, I think my thing with Tesla goes back a few years, and when I initially started to think about Tesla, the company, and the products that they have, and my initial feeling about it was that I didn't feel very good about it, and I don't know if that was a rational sort of feeling that I had, but I thought, there's this company, and it's going after the green market, and taking advantage of tax rebates and so forth, and so I just had a sort of general negative opinion of it because of that, but maybe 6 months to a year ago, I saw Doug DeMuro did a video where
This is the Tesla Model X crossover. Because of its unusual doors, Tesla calls it a sport utility vehicle with falcon wing doors.
But, some of us enjoy all the little details, and Doug, I respect his opinion, and Doug's opinion of Tesla had apparently changed after doing that review.
But in general, I think this thing is pretty cool. And I say that as someone who has made fun of Tesla and its cars and its obsessive owners and their stupid vanity plates in the past. Why is the Tesla Model X an awful car? It isn't. And you'd better get ready, because this might just be the future.
So then I started to think a little bit differently about it. I said, oh, well, maybe the cars they're coming out with are actually worth the money. Maybe having an electric car isn't just about, being green or, eating tofu. Maybe
granola.
Maybe there's actually something to this. And then I think I started doing a little bit more research on the company, on Elon in general. So my opinion of Tesla after the Joe Rogan interview is actually better than it was before it. I think Tesla has a lot of...
What has improved specifically?
Well, I think...
Just the overall image?
The way that Elon sold Tesla in that interview, I thought was really good.
He did a great job.
I thought that he was talking about how you're going to feel when you're driving it. It's like he's watched some of those training videos from the 70s or something.
Sir, will that Cadillac fit in your garage? Do what? I said, will that Cadillac fit in your garage? Will it fit in my garage? Well, hell, it's smaller than the one I'm trading in. That's why I just wondered, do you back in your garage or do you pull in forward? Do a what, boy? I said, do you back in your garage or do you pull in forward? Do I back in my garage? How long you been selling cars, fella? I said, a few days. He started back in. I said, if I could take just a minute. He walked back in the door. I said, good, come on, have a seat with me. I said, I was just asking, make sure the car fit in your garage. He said, oh, hell yeah, it fit in my garage. He said, but you asked me, did I back in my garage? He said, why in the hell would you ask me something like that? I said, well, some people do. He said, oh, hell no, I don't. I just drive right in. Where'd he put the car? Where'd he go mentally? So help me, if I'm lying, I'm dying.
He's talking about, the car, like, taking care of you while you're in it.
Yeah, he said, one of my favorite things he said.
I think a Tesla is the most fun thing you could possibly buy ever. That's what it's meant to be.
Well,
our goal is to make it's not exactly a car. It's actually a thing to maximize enjoyment. Make it's maximum fun.
It's not a car. It's a thing to maximize enjoyment.
Yeah, that's a line that probably stuck with a lot of people.
You know, I was driving down south and I was listening to the podcast, and I immediately thought about, like, because I've seen the Model 3 on the road, and at first I thought it was ugly. It just looked like somebody took the Model S and kept the roof line and just shrunk the body, so it just looked like a guy that doesn't work out his legs, or a car that didn't have the legs to back it up. But you know, I've seen them on the road more and more often.
Same.
They've kind of grown on me. Same thing with the Prius. I thought the most current generation of the Prius was absolutely hideous, and then the more I see it, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
And listening to the podcast, I imagined myself, like, you know, I asked myself the question, could I see myself driving a Model 3 because of the affordability, and if they're actually going to deliver a sub $40,000 car, then yes. Now, in my role, it's a little bit more different than your role. You're primarily based at the office. I do a little bit more driving. Yeah, every week is different. With a 330 or 350 mile range, I could see myself owning a Model 3, especially at the affordability, and especially if it had those self-driving features and all the software updates that they're talking about.
Yeah.
I could see myself totally enjoying that experience and being able to be on my computer, answer emails, but also maximize the enjoyment. I don't think. Have you ever been in an electric vehicle?
No.
Man, it's even the Prius in hybrid mode is extremely quiet, and you don't realize the sound around you and the sound of the engine and the acceleration and the brakes and how much sound a typical car makes, and how much more tense you are than when you're in an electric vehicle, because there's no sound. And a lot of people have claimed that driving an electric vehicle, because it's virtually soundless other than, you know, some variable air noise coming around you, that it's so much more of a relaxing experience, and I completely agree.